Supplemental math videos from Circle Christian School. Solving logarithms. Welcome to the world of my father and his crazy log doggy. My father, who was this son of an immigrant, loved logarithms, and so our first puppy dog, this bloodhound mix, was named Log. Try running down the street when your dog has ran away from you going log. Your neighbors look at you a little funny, especially back in 1956, 7, and 8. He's a famous mathematician. He was also a congregational minister and a logarithm expert. He's the guy who made logarithms. Interestingly enough, along with Fibonacci, he perfected the Dewey Decimal System. Just kind of nice note that my grandfather was also a congregational minister. Okay, let's try a few logarithms here, solving them. Big thing is, if x is sitting in the power, what you have to do is log it. That is, if you have e of x and x is sitting up there, you're just going to do the opposite and inverse it, and that's ln it. If x is in the log, you're going to power it with the base of the log. Also, consequently, that if you have x with ln, you're going to e it. I'm going to start with some basic simple ones where you can kind of one-on-one it type of thing, because there is a same base to a same base type of relationship here. So I'm going to start with one that is 4x plus to the power of x plus 2 equals 64. Now on first look, your inclination would be, okay, I've got x up in the power, so I'm going to log it, which you can certainly do. There's no problem with that. But sometimes you can take a look at what is happening in the base here, and you have to be a little savvy with your powers to do this. But I happen to know that 4 has some sort of perfect base going on it with it, just as 64 does. So 4 can be simplified by a base of 2, and what we do is bring a 2 up here. So 2 to the power of 2 is the same thing as 4, and just include our x plus 2 here. Equals, and the next thing I happen to know, 64 is also something cool that happens with a base of 2, that it is the same as 2 to the 6th power. So note here that we have same bases going on, and our one-to-one relationship is that, well, okay, then basically power has to equal power. So we get 2x plus the 4, I just distributed it out, equals 6 minus 4, and x will equal 1. Oops, sorry about that. I somehow thought that I had hit the little pause button. Guess not. So, gonna erase, start with another one. Of course, not all of them can be as simple as that. 2 to the power of x equals 7. Well, of course, 7 doesn't have any type of base 2 properties. So again, we make the discovery that, all right, we have x sitting up in the power, so we're going to log it. So I'm going to log 2, the 2, because we know that's an identity property. Found that out the other day. So if I log 2 one side, I'm going to have to log 2 the other side. That cancels out the 2, and it gives us x equals log 2, 7. And so now all we have to do is just change the base, put what I call the large puppy dog over the small puppy dog in honor of log. You'll see why in a second. Log 7 over log 2, see, a log and a log, to which we find out that x equals, let me find it. It didn't give it to me. I'll let you use your calculator to figure that one out, and you can include that in your problems. Another quick example, and we'll go with a E type of problem. Say we have 2e x equals 10. And again, locate what you're looking for, and it's always the x, and it's in the power. So if it's e to the power x, what we have to do is ln it. But before we can do that, we always have to get the logarithm by itself, get the condition by itself. So we're going to have to divide by 2 and divide by 2. Alright, that's going to give us e to the power of x equals 5. The opposite of an e is an ln, so I'm going to ln e and ln the other side. So x is going to equal ln 5. And I'll let you figure out what that is by calculator also. Okay, let's try where a x is in a logarithm. So we have 2 log 4x equals 5. And the x is sitting in the logarithm. Got to get the logarithm all by itself. So we're going to divide by 2 and divide by 2. So we get a log 4x equals the 5 over the 2. And since x is in the logarithm, what we have to do is power it by the base. Well, the base here is base 4. So I'm going to take the log and power it to 4. And we're going to do the same thing. If we give a base to one side, we have to give a base to the other side. That's going to cancel out the logarithm. And x is going to equal 4 to the power of 5 over 2. And again, I'll let you take your happy little calculator and figure that out. Just remember that when you put it into your calculator, if you don't have one of the fancy smancy new ones that allow you to put actual powers down, make sure that you put your power in parentheses. Go clear it. Work on one more. Okay, you have an investment of $5,000. Lucky you. And you are placing it in a savings account for 2 years. You can use a little bit of your buck system in here. The interest on the that tells me we have to use the PERT formula for this. He's compound continuously. And you want to know that at the end of 2 years here, the balance of the account is $5,416.44. What was the rate? Alright, so we're just going to put it everything into the formula. The amount that you ended up with was the 5,416 and 44 whole cents. Principal that you walked in the door with was the $5,000. Of course, we have the E, natural base E, and we're looking for R, the rate, and we had 2 years going on here. So the first thing that we have to do is, again, get the logarithm all by itself here, which is a natural base e. We notice that the powers, so what we're going to have to do is log it, or in this case ln it, but before we do, we're going to have to isolate it, so we're going to divide both sides by the 5,000. That results in 1.083, nice long number that they came up with, 288. Equals the e to r. So now what we're going to do is ln both sides. ln, just the opposite. It's all about the inverse. And you take your handy dandy little calculator and find out that ln 1.083288 is 0.08. And of course that says goodbye, so it leaves you with the 2r, divide by 2, and divide by 2. So the result is 0.04 equals r, or 4% for your rate. Okay, go out and give your doggy a dog biscuit for log log.